Hello, my name is Jeff Fuller. I'm presenting this summary of a study that we did in 2023 after the Uvalde elementary school shooting that prompted a number of questions, at least for the people that I have been working with in Prince William with regard to the Prince William County schools and others about are we prepared adequately for a attack such as the Uvalde attack. So I formed up a team consisting of uh, two acquaintances and friends now who worked with me on the original analysis. What I'm doing now is providing an update with the extrapolation into the current situation. And this is not an attack on Prince William County schools, especially the risk management division, which has been doing an admirable job of getting the resources and applying them effectively. But we do address two concerns, and one in particular, and that is the failure to provide armed protection for elementary schools and middle schools, full-time armed protection. And I'll explain why that is the case and what we recommend to consider going forward. So this is a presentation for the members of the Moms for Liberty chapter. It's an update to them and also to the school board, which I hope will consider this soberly and with an appropriate respect for the situation that is confronting parents and children in our school system. In brief, we did a risk analysis. This is something I do for a living. I'm a consultant and advisor to the Capital Technology University's threat and risk analysis program for terrorism. And I've worked in this area for a long time, and including many hundreds of scenarios which applied this approach to risk analysis. So if you want to know more about that, I'd be happy to present a more detailed presentation, but this is basically intended to provide the bottom line. So basically the bottom line is that we see two major glaring vulnerabilities in the Prince William County school security system. The most pressing is that there's a failure to provide armed security in all elementary schools full-time and about and basically the middle schools, which are covered part-time, but part-time isn't good enough because it's easily defeated. So let me just cover the major points here. Any part-time or no arms security solution is not acceptable in terms of risk mitigation. Calling 911 leaves the shooter between 5 to 9 minutes, depending upon how close a patrol car is or any other armed security to the incident. Declaring schools off limits to armed and trained employees is both immoral to students and a great risk to the school division, because you're basically telling employees and students that they have to be sitting there as sitting ducks waiting for the 911 response. We think that's unacceptable. We just analyzed one alternative to the current situation in Prince William. We used the Florida's Guardian program as an example. And admittedly, this is a rough estimate. But I think the results indicate to me that it's worthy of consideration. And if not the Florida alternative, there's a number of other alternatives that would allow for Prince William County schools to provide armed protection at a lesser cost than the current approach and covering all schools, which the current approach does not. The second thing that jumped out at me at least was that while the camera system for the schools have been upgraded significantly, they do not employ current technology for smart camera systems. That means that the cameras are helpful in finding out who shot John after the attack, but or who was involved in a fight after the event, but it doesn't give the security professionals an opportunity to intervene based on analytics that are totally available to the system and could be used with the current cameras that you now have purchased. So I just show one link here to an example, but I would encourage you to consider doing a cost-benefit analysis. And I believe because if you applied the general approach that we're suggesting of an alternative to SROs, I think you'll have enough savings to pay for that easily. So the data shows, and I use the Washington Post School database, which I include a link here if you want to go into that yourself. And this was, again, about a year and a half ago, so the data is slightly dated, but it's good enough for this purpose. The elementary school kill ratio for attackers is the highest of all of the categories. The chart here shows that. In other words, the red bar is a number of equivalent fatalities, and the yellow bar is the number of attacks. And in the case of elementary school, the number of attacks, the number of equivalent fatalities exceeds the number of attacks by about 1.3 or 4. So that there's a number of reasons for that. One is the average school shooter age for elementary schools are the miserable people of 30 years of age average who are intent on inflicting the most painful and largest number of fatalities. Many in these kind of attacks die or within minutes of the attack. Time is not your friend, and waiting for a 911 response, while will definitely interrupt and disrupt the attack, but not before as many people as could be killed by the attacker. Another thing that's been discovered since the early days of Columbine, which was in Columbine, we discovered that you can't sit around waiting for the school solution to materialize in terms of a police response. You have to go immediately with the first armed defender or responder. But in recent years, it's been realized by law enforcement and security professionals that that you have to get somebody with a gun to the attacker most expeditiously. And anybody with a gun will disrupt that attack by brandishing it. And by the way, many attacks are not resolved with a gunfight. Many attackers withdraw themselves, or commit suicide, or give up at the first sight of a armed professional or an armed citizen. So that's an important thing that should be considered. Our rough cost analysis shows that Prince William County could save up to $10 million a year and still cover all of the schools. That's a sobering thought, and it's one I think that you have to consider. So that is the highlight that I'm focused on, which is the elementary schools. There is coverage right now, armed coverage in the middle schools, but the problem with the current approach is that these attackers are not stupid. Most of the elementary school attackers are average age of 16. Whereas the elementary schools are 30. That means people that are from outside of the school system are coming to elementary schools to kill kids, not some kind of a grudge or somebody's mad at a teacher or whatever. So let me summarize the analysis, and this is squeezing a lot of work down into one slide, so bear with me. Our risk management team assessed that armed security would reduce the death and injury of an elementary school attack by 18 equivalent fatalities, down from 23, which is our worst case, and the 23 came from the Columbine school attack. And as you can see, our estimate is that it would be reduced by about 18 lives. I'm not going to drag you through how, but I'm happy to explain it to anybody that wants to know. So we roughed out this cost. One is the requirement is 7.5 hours per day. That's 39 months or 36 weeks. We assume a 25% increase in hours to provide for supervisor and backups for illness and whatnot, vacation. And so that's a total of 1,687.5 hours per year for an armed professional. The cost of an SRO we estimated at $90 an hour. The cost of contract security at $30. And so you can see the cost of a SRO is $151,000, $152,000, and a contract is $50,000. Now, we don't have that data from the school division or the police department, and we're not going to get it. I've asked and been rebuffed, but that's okay. This is a rough estimate anyway, just to give you a feel for what the possibilities are. So that gives us about $100,000 savings. Now, if you have different structures, you could definitely eat into that. I believe that it would be prudent to have law enforcement, police department, and or sheriffs involved full-time in this process, and that would up the cost. So that if you apply it for the whole 103 schools, that would be about $10 million, as I said, per year savings. And of course, I would recommend you apply some of those savings to develop a smart camera system. We believe that it's not acceptable or cost effective to rely on your current SRO police officer solution. The program in Florida comes out of the Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School Public Safety Act. And they've developed in response to that act the Coach Aaron Fey's Guardian program. I'm pulling this from their website. And there's a lot of things in that program, many of which Prince William County Schools provides excellent similar support. So this, in summary, we're grateful, first place, all of the members of Moms for Liberty in Prince William County are very grateful and impressed with the many improvements that the school board and the school division have implemented. And the risk management outfit is definitely very focused on this problem. However, in spite of all those things, we think that the school board cannot accept the risk to the middle and elementary schools of an armed attack. Rare as it would be, it seems to us to be a risk that's not acceptable, especially when you do not allow persons to carry, school staff, teachers, etc., admin to carry concealed or to otherwise provide some form of protection. So that's it. I hope you'll consider this favorably and let the public know how you respond. Thank you.